Hello everybody, James Rink here, and I am in Camp Hero in Montauk, New York, and I have a special message for you today. This is a channel message from Kimberly Lusana from supersoldiercoalition.org from St. Germain about this particular place on the planet, and in particular, the Montauk Project. So, she is unable to be here today, but she has asked me to present this message on her behalf. Behind me here is the SAGE radar tower. So this was used as a means of communication from the 1940s to the 1960s before satellites were invented. It would create resonant frequencies around this area and in Montauk, and the facility located below it, there will be Montauk chair operators who would tap into this consciousness energy field created by the SAGE radar tower, and they would use that to open up portals and utilize it for time travel purposes. So let's discuss a little bit more about the sub-level time travel projects under Project Phoenix, which were a series of large-scale experiments in time travel mechanics. These projects were about finding out the exact ramifications of time travel on people, places, and things. It's the equivalent to feeding mice nicotine in order to discover how the nervous system would react. In other words, they cracked a lot of eggs before they came up with a perfect time travel omelet. There were many thousands upon thousands of children who had lost their lives in these time travel experiments. These individuals have never been recognized for their sacrifice in furthering time travel exploration and orientation. These children are buried in nameless graves around this area, but today we are acknowledging these special souls who were abducted by these project controllers and experimented upon, with their lives ending horrifically without family or friends ever knowing their whereabouts because they just covertly disappeared into the night. We would also like to acknowledge the courageous souls who were taken without their consent in these time travel experiments and survived. These individuals have been placed through a tremendous amount of both physical and emotional harm with no protection from the unyielding and often extremely brutal experimentations and torturous circumstances delivered to them from these vile program controllers. These children are warriors with a great internal fortitude that has been put to the test like nowhere else in this galaxy. Some children lived through the madness, where countless other children did not. Because of the Montauk Project survivors, your planet now has the capability of time travel. And this is a significant achievement for your race, accomplished on the backs of children. We must never forget this. We, St. Germain, the Confederation, and the additional light forces from all over this galaxy and beyond do not and will not never condone such torturous tactics employed by your corporate government to psychologically break children for the purpose of gaining a military advantage over your perceived enemies, both foreign and domestic. This is why we are speaking to you today, as a countermeasure to these actions. The Montauk Project, contrary to popular belief, was not the originator of the CIA MKUltra mind control programs. However, the project leaders who were in control over these experiments at Montauk chose to exploit MKUltra Avenue to its fullest potential. And it did proceed to successfully reprogram all the children in use within these black projects in both Montauk stages 1.0 and 2.0. To explain a little bit more about MKUltra, for those who are not aware, MKUltra is a technique utilized to rewire an individual's innate biological systems connections through the use of suggestive materials delivered through light and sound, which contain unconscious commands that are embedded into the mind, in order to override an individual's free will choice, through commands in an outside source conducting the sensory programming. Monarch Solutions is one of the off-world military corporations in charge of overseeing the Montauk Project. Monarch Solutions would also utilize the same individuals from the Montauk Project in its sub-projects within their own corporate-wide experiments. So individuals transferred from the Montauk Project to Monarch Solutions were exposed to even greater MKUltra reprogramming and wicked mind control devices. Monarch Solution has been operating in this reality for thousands of years and has engineered a massive underground facility below Toronto. The CIA were the original founders and recruiter of the Montauk Project. Many were Nazi scientists who were imported into the United States with help from reptilian high command and the Greys through a black project called Project Paperclip in the 1940s. This negatively affected group within the surface population were being given information and technology from a negatively oriented extraterrestrial races like the Draco Reptilians, Greys, and Nordics to assist in the development of their own mind control program, which eventually be called MKUltra. MKUltra derives from the German language and translate into the German spelling of mind control, with MINDE with capital K. And Ultra refers to the affiliated German top-secret black programs. The Montauk program project was broken down into two sections that are characterized by locations. Montauk Stage 1.0 occurred in the 1970s and took place here in Camp Hero, New York, where I'm standing now. A second location, characterized by Montauk Project Stage 2.0, had occurred underneath Brookhaven Labs in the 1980s. It actually began in 1979, so that both programs are going on when Montauk 1.0 shut down in 1983. There was also a precursor to the Montauk 1.0, so this was what it was known as the moniker Montauk Boys. That's where that came from. What happened is German paperclip scientists were working in mind control experiments in Brookhaven Labs, and politicians got a hold of what was going on, and they were very concerned about it, and they shut the project down. So these German paperclip scientists reached out to the Army and got a hold of this Camp Hero facility, and that's where they continued on their experiments in the 1970s. The program expanded in the 1970s to include female children because they were discovering at that time that females were just as powerful psionically, or even more so, than the boys. In their quest to find psychic children to sit in the Montauk operator's chair, they ended up recruiting and killing multiple thousands of children just to find the one child who would naturally open a time travel portal. These children were discarded children, were simply being utilized as batteries to supply the much-needed psychic energy in order to power the abilities of the chair. These children would be sacrificed, tortured, and then disposed of directly in this Camp Hero area location. Montauk leaders ordered the chair operator's children to dig up mass graves and dump these bodies of these poor discarded children who were cruelly drained of their life force energy. Additionally, many more 10,000s of kidnapped children would be sent down these time tunnels, and they would often go missing or die in the time tunnels. In the future, this repugnant death energy in this area will need to be cleansed and removed from the timeline. Montauk Project Stage 2.0 began in the 1980s and had a more sophisticated arrangement. They developed specific torture techniques to ensure a faster, more precise psychological break within project inductees. Montauk Project Stage 2.0 was responsible for launching dozens of other projects, including Project Ibis, where children were contained in playpens and cages to bond with wild, dangerous animals. Most of the Montauk Project inductees from Montauk Project 1.0 and Montauk Project 2.0 went from Monarch and then into the Shaw House. Shaw House is the equivalent of going into a carnival fair and walking into a house of mirrors, designed to disconnect the inductees from their own sense of reality and insert them into a multi-layered fictional reality where there's no escape. This is a total psychological infraction on any individual entering into the House of Mirrors. The Shaw Group is the owner and operator of the Shaw House. Shaw House is located in a massive underground facility below the city of London. Heather Shaw is in charge of Shaw House, and in this reality, her clone is the actress Vanessa Kirby, while her sister and Vice President Janet Shaw has a clone in this reality who is the singer and pop star Taylor Swift. I was personally recruited into Montauk 2.0 by Janet Shaw because I tried to kill Heather Shaw when I worked for Kruger. As a result of the Montauk Project Stages 1.0 and 2.0, Project Phoenix is the umbrella group of all these time travel programs, which not only includes Project Looking Glass taking place at Brookhaven. They utilized a Stargate they pulled out of the Amazon. In order to activate the Stargate, they needed to murder native children. So they wanted to bring some of the Montauk program from 1.0 over there to activate the Stargate without having to kill a bunch of children. And also Project Pegasus is under Project Phoenix. This particular programs under Project Phoenix allowed certain nefarious individuals on planet Earth with a great deal of power due to this technology, which is now afforded to them the ability to affect and change your reality any way that they desired. And as you are already aware, they are successful in this endeavor. My personal belief, it's not working in the way that they were hoping anymore, because I think the timelines themselves have become conscious. Maybe there's other higher forces above us that allow this to happen in order to manifest a better timeline for everybody. So we are referring more specifically to the Philadelphia experiment that took place in August 1943, which caused a time rift into your reality on planet Earth. Due to the Philadelphia experiment, along with the assistance of the Montauk Project, there was an erroneous sub-reality, which is ours, which is created within this timeline, that is looped into the main reality through the occurrence of the USS Eldridge being pulled out of its original timeline and then returned into a parallel reality. This operation has inversely changed the trajectory of your reality in a few different ways. For instance, there are now two societies living concurrently on your planet, one that lives in a Star Trek age and one that lives in enslavement. For example, the South won the Civil War, but do you know about that? By bringing the subject of time travel to light, we are hoping that this information gets out into the public forum to inform and educate by introducing the idea that you, on planet Earth, are not living in this physical reality only. With this clandestine information being aired out in the open, we are trying to bridge the technological gap between one, a very advanced fraction of society, and the other fortunate faction that does not have access to or knowledge of these off-world technological advancements. By discussing these types of technological gadgetries in any way, it facilitates an advancement of public awareness and removes the ability of derelict behavior on some of your planet who aim to keep this information undisclosed to the public and tucked away from your prying eyes. They do this for selfish reasons. In order to maintain their own power and control, we, the light forces, are here to remove the imbalance of power and allow everyone on your planet to share and enjoy the technological advancements that the Montauk Project survivors who suffered greatly in order to bring your planet the universal knowledge of time travel. Once antigravitics, medbed technology, food replicators, and time travel are made widely available to the public, it will irrevocably change the direction of your society and the way your people live and conduct their lives on planet Earth. These technological items will cause a skyrocketing evolutional path that is incomprehensible to humans at this juncture and will expand your race and consciousness capacity beyond any level previously reached by human incarnates. In future days, the area that I'm standing in right now will eventually be converted into a national park, and a monument will be dedicated to those who served in the Montauk Project with valor to further the cause. We commend you all in this pursuit. Your future is bright, my friends. Much love to you all, Saint Germain.
Saint Germain. Excellent.